power.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Information Man. I welcome you all to the program today. Last week, I did a video about Brother Polight, if you can even call him a brother at this point in time. Allegedly, he was accused of misconduct with a 14-year-old girl, underage. And I told you last week that the story that the mother had gave him permission to take her to a club was not true. Zion Lex TV also stated in his video that he's been talking to the mother and that the mother and the family has been getting death threats. There's a lot of information out there. It was a great show we had just a week ago, which I appreciate people coming over. But today is going to be, I think, more powerful because today we actually have a real lawyer with me today. And I'm going to introduce her in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Information Man Show. Ladies and gentlemen, all righty, welcome to the Information Man Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be quite, and I must say quite a program today, simply because of one important element is that I have a lawyer with me. This sister is dynamic, powerful. She has a channel, the Empowered Esquire TV. Let me clap on that. I'm going to bring her in just a moment. I appreciate you all being here. I must tell the truth. And a lot of us on YouTube have been giving our opinions. Hell, I've given my opinion about this situation with Polight. A lot of us are giving our opinions. A lot of us are saying it's alleged. We need to hold back. We need to see what happens with the law. Well, today I've got a treat for you because this sister is a lawyer. She's credible, legitimate, credentials, the whole 9 yards for some of you haters out there that would say, you ain't got no real lawyer on the stage with you, Info Man. I laugh at you. I laugh at you if you say that. I laugh at you. But I'm going to bring her on board. We're going to break down the law in very easy terms for everybody to understand. And everybody out there, put a 1 in the chat room if you can actually hear me, because you know how I am with the audio issues. I get a little paranoid. So put a 1 inside the chat room if you can actually hear the broadcast. I got to make sure that everything is working just fine before we move anywhere forward with this broadcast. So it looks like everything is looking good so far. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a perspective that is highly needed. Now, this sister in Empowered Esquire TV. I have the description of her channel in this video. I will ask the mods from time to time to drop that video in the chat room, because we want to subscribe and support this sister show 100%, 110%. I'm talking about 10% orange juice. Subscribe to this sister's channel, because after you hear what this sister's got to say today, as you see right there, subscribe to her channel, most definitely. After you hear what she has to say today, it will open your mind and understanding to how the law works, ladies and gentlemen. It is important for us to have our information and our facts right as it relates to the law. Okay? For those of you that are coming in right now, I want to say again, thank you for watching this video. Like and comment and subscribe as well. That is definitely appreciated, definitely needed by all means. I really appreciate that. And with that said, with all further ado, let me bring the sister in right now. What a beautiful clap again. There she is. There she is. The Empowered Esquire TV. What's going on, my sister? Hopefully you're unmuted. Thank you.
I just unmuted myself. I wanted to make sure I didn't interrupt your intro, but hello, hi, Information Man and everyone in the chat.
Thank you. Oh, man. So people are coming in a little bit of time, and there'll be people coming in and watch it live. There'll be people that will be watching this after the fact. But first of all, let me just say this real quick to you. I got to admit that I discovered your channel by accident. I don't want to say by accident. I believe that it was the YouTube algorithms that brought your channel right to me as I was looking through the YouTube, system. And I said, wow, a lawyer, let me check out what her channel is all about. And I noticed you had material in there about R. Kelly and his legal issues and many other legal issues that have happened to some of our prominent entertainers and folks that we're aware of out there. And then I noticed you had the one on Brother Polight. And I said, this is exactly what we need to understand and what we need to know. And you broke it down in layman's terms, very simple, to the point for one to understand. So let everybody know right now your credentials as a lawyer, how long you've been practicing law, where did you get your law degree, where did you get your education, your background, and your experiences when it comes to your own cases. You can't give personal information, of course, but your own experiences when it comes to representing your clients. Go right ahead, my sister.
So the first thing I will say, which I've shared on my channel before, and this is for everyone regarding attorneys and credentials. So a law license is public record. So if anyone says that they are an attorney, they should be able to tell you where they are barred. And every state bar has a website which contains an attorney lookup. So for example, in my instance, I am barred in the state of New York, right? So you can go to the state bar for the state of New York. You can go to attorney lookup. You can look up Felicia Pearson, that's my name, and you will find that I have an active license. The state bars usually also record any type of major issue that has occurred with a person's license. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Any attorney that says they are licensed can be found online regarding the validity of their license. That's first. Okay. So as far as me and my license and my education, I am originally a Florida girl. I received my bachelorate degree at the University of West Florida, and then my Juris Doctor from Stetson University College of Law in Tampa, Florida. It's technically Gulfport, but there's also a Tampa campus, right? It's a gorgeous campus. If you're considering law school, I always tell people Stetson Law is one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. And I always tell people to contact me if you're considering law school so we can talk about that process, talk about Stetson. I've written, LSAC recommendation letters. So contact me if you're curious. We always need more attorneys, I think, right? Now, as far as my practice and my experience, I just hit my 5-year mark in practice. So I've been barred for 5 years. I started my career as a prosecutor. And since then, I've moved into private practice, which has been some criminal appellate work and some civil litigation. So that's pretty much the gist of what I've done and where I got my education.
Wow. Let me say something to you right now, my dear sister. This is powerful. We need, when we talk about the law and how we as black people have been railroaded by the law system, we need warriors like yourself in that system to turn it to our side. And I say this because we just need more black people in these professional positions to represent us. So often we are represented by people who often don't look like us, who don't have our best interests in mind. And so I am very excited to see you, sister, with that law degree. We need more black people in these positions to help us, to help our community when we are being railroaded. Now, as it relates right now, because she did a video about Polight, I want you to let everybody, with the time that we have, I want you to let everybody know what is your professional, legal, not opinion. See, we talking opinions, but your legal expertise tells you about what's going on with Polight, considering the fact that if I'm not wrong, first of all, let me do this. Let me play the same video that I played last week that you also play on your show, just a small clip of the news clip, just to put a perspective on things. And we're going to come right back to that question I have for you, sister. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, he normally garners attention for his online posts, but now the social media influencer and motivational speaker is making headlines for the wrong reason. NBC6 reporter Kim Nguyen is live in Miami Beach tonight with more on the arrest of the man known as Brother Polight. Kim.
Yeah, well, Jawan, the suspect surrendered here at the Miami Beach Police Department earlier this week. Police charged him with sexual battery of a 14-year-old girl. We did speak with his lawyer earlier tonight, who says that these charges are false. This is the mugshot of 37-year-old Michael Noak Jr., also known as Brother Polight, to his more than 300,000 Instagram followers. Miami Beach police arrested Noak this week for alleged sexual battery of a 14-year-old girl in a hotel room in February. Police say the alleged victim was the daughter of a woman he was romantically linked to. Defense attorney David Tarras says his client is innocent.
Once the evidence is produced, that he is going to be exonerated. So yeah, not guilty, nothing else.
According to the police report, Noak, a motivational speaker and author who lives in L.A., asked the woman if he could take her daughter to an after-party at a club in Miami. The report states Noak took the teen to his hotel after seeing that the club was closed. Police say the suspect gave the teen alcohol and started dancing and touching the teen inappropriately, groping her breast, inner thighs, and buttocks. It goes on to say Noak tried to force the teen to perform oral sex on him. The teen allegedly passed out and woke up to Noak trying to make her throw up.
These are serious allegations, but in any situation, there is always motive. There is always a lot behind the scenes that the public is not going to be able to see.
The report states that the girl's mother found her intoxicated and possibly on drugs, with severe swelling on her mouth and lips. It later states Noak told the mother not to call. The report states that the girl's mother found her intoxicated and possibly on drugs, with severe swelling on her mouth and lips. It later states Noak told the mother not to call. It would ruin his career. Noak was served with a DNA warrant in June and surrendered to police on Monday. Tarras says the police report is only in several wives. For now, we're reporting live in Miami Beach. Kim Nguyen, NBC6.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Back to our lawyer, the attorney at law. Here she is back on. Okay, now, with the news clip that we just witnessed, many people have witnessed that news clip. And many people have, like myself, have played that clip. You played that clip on your channel. From a legal point of view, let us know what the hell is going on.
So there are a lot of things that you're hearing in that news clip that might just kind of slip by the ear initially. But to a legally trained ear, you snap onto it or catch onto it, I should say, right away. The first thing that I caught right away is that the mother observed, allegedly, that the minor was intoxicated. Because in most states, Florida included, when the minor has been assaulted after being incapacitated in some way, it's a higher charge. It's a charge in which the defendant is facing more jail time.
Wow.
So for instance, in this case, you go from a maximum of 15 years, with just assault of a minor, and I'm going to leave out a certain word, right? Up to potentially life in prison if you try to incapacitate the minor via some sort of drugging before you assaulted them.
Wow.
So to the trained ear, you first hear, oh my goodness, she was also incapacitated in some way. Okay, that has to be some sort of aggravating circumstance. Then I hear that allegedly Michael Noak said to the victim's mother, not to call the police because it could ruin his career. Initially, right away, I catch that because in the law, that's something that we call an admission.
Wow.
So here you have a defendant not denying that he did these things, right? Not saying to the mother, I didn't do anything, no, it didn't happen. But instead saying to the mother, please don't tell anyone.
Wow. Because look, my sister, and you're on top of the money here. If you are innocent, I would think I'm not a lawyer, but if you're innocent, why would you tell someone not to contact the authorities because you have a reputation that you don't want ruined if you are initially and you are an innocent man of all these potential charges? What do you say?
Yes, that is how the law views it. And that's not even just my personal opinion. That is how the law views that kind of behavior. There are certain types of behavior that the law interprets as an admission on the part of the defendant, as behavior that suggests that you are in a state of guilt, right? We call it culpability. Some people call it admission, different legal lingo, but it just means your behavior seems like you're guilty. That's what it means in layman's terms. And the law would view a defendant telling someone not to say anything because of their career as an admission, as that defendant saying, in a low-key way, yeah, I did this.
Wow. Let me go ahead and do something really quick here. We have a good number of people that are coming into the chat right now that are watching, and I'm happy to see people are watching. Let me say peace to Back to the Basics, No Nonsense. I think Black Outcast had sent me a super chat, so let me thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
For that super chat, Black Outcast. I appreciate that. We got Golden Melanin. We got Nappy Roots Girl that's in the house. Let me see. We got Q1 Films Media, if I'm saying that correct. We got Natural, Brother Doug, who's been rocking with me for a while. And we got a super chat here from Sister TJ, $5 super chat. Thank you for that.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his. Thank you for the super chat.
That's the one I want. I would play my usual ceremonial music and video for you, sister, but I want to stay focused on the legal information that's necessary. But I want to say thank you for the super chat, TJ, and everybody out there that's here that may super chat me. And if you don't super chat me, doesn't matter. I'm just glad that you're here. You're listening. We got Sister Afro in the house here, No Nonsense, and many more that will be coming in. Express. We got, let me see. We got Empress KIYA. Oh, Empress has been here before. Thank you for coming over. We got Brother Underrated Darkness. That's my brother. Check out his channel. Check all of each other out. And let's get back to this important discussion here. So let me see. Where am I at? This is the question I have for you, because people have been asking this. You can hear this throughout the social media. Well, if Brother Polight, if Polight is innocent, why did he get let go from jail? Now, I don't know how true this is, because Brother Zion Lex TV, if I'm saying the name correctly, he said he's been in contact with the mother of this child, and he has it on good information from the mother, because he interviewed her once before, as you probably know this, sister, with Polight in the room, when he was making all of this justification about, oh, it's okay because if the Bible says this. And I got a real big problem with people who push that narrative that if the Bible says that, it's okay. But his thing is that there was a mix up in paperwork, which is the potential, allegedly, I got to say that, allegedly why he was let go, saying that this often happens sometimes when you have a mix up in paperwork. Now, I don't know how true that is. I'm not a lawyer. What do you say?
So my understanding, based upon the information released by the Miami-Dade Clerk's office, is that he was granted bail/bond. He was granted a release based upon a certain amount of monetary security, if you will, right? A certain level of surety. Now, bail/bond status has nothing to do with the validity of a case.
Okay.
When a judge and or a court is evaluating bail/bond, they are looking at certain factors to tell them whether or not this person is a flight risk. If they deem that you are not some tremendous flight risk, then they will probably grant you some type of release, again, based upon some level of monetary surety, right?
Yes,
so
right.
It's not about the validity of the case. It's about, is this defendant a flight risk? So if you have a defendant who doesn't appear to be a major flight risk and also doesn't have this lengthy criminal record, they will usually receive some sort of release status, and they usually will not be kept until trial. That is the norm. So again, the bail/bond status has nothing to do with the validity of the case.
So let's get this right. And I want you to say this again. So basically, let me see if I got this right. Just because he got bail, we can't run to the mountaintop and make this assumption that he is a innocent man. Although we know that, tell me if I'm wrong, counselor. Although we know that when people are being brought under charges, tell me if I'm wrong or right. Do charges necessarily mean that the person's guilty? Any of us can be charged of something, right?
That is correct. You are, of course, innocent until proven guilty. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with a bail hearing, what happens at the bail hearing is not a sort of, assertion as to the validity of the charges. That is not what happens.
Okay.
What happens is that the government/prosecutor says to the court, Your Honor, we are requesting this amount in bail, or Your Honor, we are requesting that this defendant be held until this case is disposed. And they make their argument for that. They talk about the defendant's financial prowess. They talk about whether or not the defendant has the ability to flee. They talk about the defendant's criminal history and whether or not they think, in their opinion, that the defendant would return for court if he were released. Then defense counsel speaks and they give their argument. They say, Your Honor, my client has family in this area. That is why a lot of times you'll see families show up for bail hearings, right? Your Honor, my client has family in this area. Here's his family in the gallery. He's not going to flee this case and just leave his family. Your Honor, my client is a man who has community ties. He is a family man. He is a this, and that. So he can be trusted to return for this case. And we are okay with this amount in bail. The judge will then take a moment, review each argument, take a look at the defendant's criminal history, and make a decision. Very often, there is not even a discussion as to the validity of the charges. It is rare that the validity of the charges is even brought up at that stage. You're just discussing whether or not this defendant will return to court, whether or not he can be trusted to be let go and come back, and if money is needed to secure that he comes back, how much money?
Let me ask you this question here, good sister. Counselor, respectfully. What do you think? What does your gut tell you is really going on? Now, you told me before we went live that you are from Florida. You lived in Florida. You lived out there. You understand Florida law. Let me put something on the screen for folks to see real quick if I can. Hopefully this will show up. Now, how did I do this before? Let me put this on the screen real quick. I want to pick something, and I want people to see this because you know this already very well. And hopefully I can get this on the screen. So this on the screen, folks, is the statute, one of the statutes of 2021 of Florida state law about the abuse of children, right? That's one. Let me show. So this is actually on Sunshine website. You can find this for yourself on Sunshine, and you can go into the Florida Constitution, law of Florida, to search information on how they look at when it comes to the abuse of children. Let me put another one up here. I think this one is, let me see here. Let me drop that off and put the other one. I just want to show that real quick, sister, and then I'm going to have you kind of go over that in the way that you can only do it best. And let me put this up here and flash that for everyone to see. Now, this one right here is the, hopefully I didn't have that up already. Oh no, sexual battery. This one right here, I think I already had up, is the abuse of children. That's not the one I want. Let me go right back out of there and go back up there. I just want people to see this real quick so they don't think that we're just making up stuff here. And hopefully this is the one that I want. No. This is not the one. Let me see here. Why am I getting this wrong when I should get it right? And pop it right there. Pop that. Up top. Okay. It's not letting me bring up the one I want. Well, anyway, there's the sexual battery, which is under chapter 794, sexual battery used in a chapter, consents, meaning intelligent, knowing, volunteer consent, and does not include coercion, submission. Consent shall not be deemed or construed to mean the failure by the alleged victim to offer physical resistance to the offender. I'm going to stop right there. I'm not a lawyer, but sister, make some sense of these statutes.
All righty. So as Information Man said, I also have a full breakdown on my channel. But the gist of the Florida statutes that are applicable here is that he's being charged with 2 felonies and a misdemeanor. The 2 felonies relate to having some sort of sexual contact or conduct with a minor. And then the misdemeanor charge just relates to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. So the misdemeanor in itself seems to be speaking to the allegation that he may have given this young lady allegedly some sort of alcohol or drugs or something like that, right? That's considered to be contributing to a minor's delinquency because you are contributing to a minor allegedly doing something that is illegal. So that's the misdemeanor. And that's punishable by up to a year of imprisonment time. Also, they have other diversions that they can do for that as well. That's the misdemeanor. He then has the 2 felonies. First, there's the sexual battery of someone that is age 12 to age 18.
Wow.
So that is the charge that I referred to earlier where I said the trained ear, we initially pick up on she may have been drunk, she may have been drugged, because we know that that means that he goes from just sexual battery where the max is 15 years of imprisonment to aggravated sexual battery where the maximum is up to a year in prison. And that's just for the first felony.
Okay.
So let me go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Are
you sure?
Yeah, I want you to go ahead, and then I'm going to make a statement that we had said earlier, but I don't want to stop you. Go right ahead, sister. Okay. My fault.
And then the second felony has a sentence of a minimum of 5.5 years to a maximum of 15. And it just relates to having a sort of contact with a minor that is considered to be inappropriate for someone who is over the age of 18 when the minor is under the age of 18. On my channel, we did a little breakdown where we pretty much just plugged in some average numbers, and we got an average of potentially 22 years of imprisonment based upon these allegations.
Ooh.
You know that's a potential. That's potentially what could happen.
Potential?
Yeah.
Wow. How does... We talked about before we went on. I brought up the lawyer because Polight has said on all his Instagram posts, I'm not going to say anything to you haters. I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to make you feel good. I'm not saying nothing because I have a team of lawyers. According to Polight, he's got the best damn team that money can buy. So he doesn't want to speak. And so, my dear sister, as we had said earlier before we went on, can you break down or at least give people a heads up on what type of lawyer he has? What do you know about this lawyer? Is he the best damn lawyer in the business? I mean, that's what Brother Polight is bragging about.
So what I will first say is kudos to his attorneys for telling him not to say anything. Because were he my client, that would be my first piece of advice. I honestly would tell him to get off of social media altogether, right? Because it's never a good idea when you have these sort of charges pending to be on social media making statements or talking about the case. So that's first. Now, from what we saw from the news clipping, supposedly his attorney is a man named David Tarras. Now, I had never heard of David Tarras before. And I mean, does that mean that he's not a great attorney? No. But usually if someone is a high profile attorney, you know, they would have a quote unquote high profile. So I personally have never heard of this person, but I did Google him. I gave him a little Google. And I found that he actually went to Fordham Law School, which is interesting because he went to law school, you know, up north, but he's originally from Florida. All that I really saw was that he's barred in both federal and state court in Florida, and he's a prior public defender, which I think is a good sign because, you know, anyone who's not familiar with the practice of the law, public defenders, similar to assistant district attorneys, get a lot of good on the ground, how to build a case trial experience. Okay. So yes, we can expect that this is an attorney who is not shy about trial, who has been to trial before and probably knows how to conduct a trial. So, you know, I actually think that were this to go to trial, David Tarras could do this case some justice from everything that we've seen online.
Okay, so it is your legal opinion based on what you've seen on paper and his experience background wise that Polight may have a decent lawyer who could work some magic for him if this were to go to trial. Is that correct assessment or incorrect on my part?
That is my humble opinion. That David Tarras appears to be competent. And I would also add, as a South Florida native, that and this is an assumption on my part with his last name and the way that he spoke in the news channel, I'm assuming that he's of some sort of Hispanic background. And so as someone who's a native of South Florida, I have to add that that's not going to hurt. It is not going to hurt him to have an attorney who has a Hispanic background, because it's very, very possible that a large portion of the jury will be people with a Hispanic background. Okay.
Let me ask you this question. He has a lawyer that has a background that could get him off. I hate to use that term, get him off on the case, but what do you believe, in your legal opinion, could be some of the areas that could get him off? Because this is my question. This is my question to you. According to the reports in the news, this took place sometime in February, if I'm not correct, if I'm wrong, or someone correct me. And they didn't bring this to the floor until if I'm not mistaken, what was it? Late July, right? This came out in late July going into, well, we're in August now, right? Is it your experience dealing with district attorneys or dealing with these criminal matters that they would bring a case this late unless they know what they are talking about? Wouldn't they dot their I's and cross their T's and say, let's take our time and investigate this properly before we bring these charges? Because they waited a few months before they brought this down on Polight, and Polight turned himself in. It ain't like they had to go chase him down the street. From the news report, they said he turned himself in. So is it your experience that if they took that long, that I don't know if this would a district attorney even put this into charges if they didn't have something potentially, allegedly legitimate, seeing that they waited so long to bring these charges forward? What are your thoughts, counselor?
So here are my thoughts. Something that a lot of people don't know is that it is not abnormal for this kind of case to progress on this timeline.
Okay.
There are a number of things at play here. First of all, Mr. Noak allegedly actually resides in California, not Florida.
Okay.
You have to consider that we don't know if there were, time delays caused by them not being able to get certain statements because some witnesses were in California, some parties were in California. There may have also been a delay with being able to communicate with the defendant himself.
Yes.
Because he allegedly resides in California, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is also that these prosecutions do not always move at a fast pace, especially when you have a minor victim.
Yes.
As I'm sure many women could relate to and can understand, which is unfortunate that many women can relate, but let's be real, right? I'm
Yes.
sure many women can relate to this when you say that a victim bringing these kinds of allegations is very, very sensitive and very, very traumatic. So a lot of times you first speak to, a victim of this kind of crime and they're not even in a place to really properly communicate. So you get a bare bones understanding and you say, okay, let's meet again next month. I want to give you some time. And then you meet again next month and you're able to flesh out the conversation more, right? So there would have been several meetings, several witnesses spoken to, perhaps even surveillance from the hotel garnered. I mean, there are so many steps, and even getting surveillance from a hotel is not as quick as movies might make it seem. There are some hotels that, they're running like a well-oiled machine, but not all of them are like that. And then there are also some hotels that they have a lot of high profile customers and they're reluctant to give things. So then you have to have this back and forth with them to get certain things. So the timeline that we are running on for this case is not unusual. In my humble opinion, I think with the allegations and with all of the evidence that they needed to line up, this is a usual timeline.
Okay. Can you, and if you have already, forgive me, but a counselor, can you elaborate more on those statutes? On your channel, you went over the law. You didn't just make it up out of thin air. You actually looked into Florida law. And as you said before, you live there. And let me just say peace to the Star Network for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Let me say peace to Brother True that's in the house. Blue Devil's in the house. Real Aaron Collins, No Nonsense, Back to the Basics, Nappy Roots. Doug is in the house. We got Tone that's in the house. Many people that have come in. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for that super chat as well.
Thank you for the super chat.
Where was I at? I want to stay on track with my thought. Can you give people the layman's term or the term that they can understand best as it relates to those statutes when it calls for abuse of a child, sexual battery, coercing a child, all those different words out there? Go right ahead.
Absolutely. So the layman's term version of the three charges that we see, like I said, via the Miami-Dade clerk's office. So you know what? Let's start there.
Okay.
So these charges are not being pulled from the sky, right? On my channel, we go on the Miami-Dade clerk's office website where we pull up the charges and we read directly from the clerk what he is allegedly being charged with. So that's the first thing. That is where we're even garnering what statutes apply and what the charges are. You then, as Information Man showed you, can go on to Online Sunshine for the state of Florida where they have all of their statutes listed. And you can yourself look at each statute. Now, the layman's version of each allegation is there is a felony for having sexual conduct with a minor. There is a felony for having illegal contact with a minor. And then there's a misdemeanor for causing a minor to do something that minors should not be doing, which, as I said previously, probably maybe alludes to the allegation that she was given alcohol and she was allegedly drugged.
Wow. So once again, let me put this back up here. I had a few little technical problems before, but as you can see, everybody, if you can see that, Let me see right here. Having some technical issues, but it's okay. This is the statute. This is on Sunshine. So I want people in the chat room and those that are out there listening, those that are saying this ain't true, y'all making up stuff. You can go on Sunshine, which is in a website in Florida that gives you all their laws, all their statutes, everything under the law as it relates to your misconduct and abuse, battery, things of that nature when it comes to children, minors, things of that nature. So I want you all to definitely check that out when you get a chance. Now, let me ask. Now I got to ask you something here. And this might be more your opinion. You have heard on audio, I'm sure, sister, and you've seen on visual where Polight has said things that give you this inference. I want to be careful here. That gives you this, you can make an educated inference from the things that he says out of his mouth. When you look at the person that he sees as his master teacher, such as Dr. York, and his history with doing things with kids. And you hear Polight saying things like, well, if the Bible says this, it's okay. Or when you hear Polight talk to a young man on a bench park, which is an old video, and he's saying things like, well, if we can prove that my master teacher did all these things with kids, right, we can break it down, I would still follow him. When you're doing a case, when you're bringing a case against someone who is being charged for this type of conduct, misconduct with a underage child, is this the sort of thing that lawyers look at? Are they going to look at what you're saying on social media? Can the words that come out of your mouth come back to hunt you visually or audioly if it can be proven? Go right ahead, my sister. And good to see you, Natural, and everybody in the chat room, Beverly's Hill, everybody that's here. Thank you for coming over. Go right ahead. You got front stage.
I will also do the same and say hello to everyone who's here. You know, it's wonderful to have you here. Now, to answer the question at hand, for those of you who do not know or who did not know, every prosecuting office, whether it is a state prosecuting office or a federal prosecuting office, has their own investigators. One more time.
Okay.
Every prosecuting office has their own investigators. So what is it that you think they're investigating? Because you have police officers who brought them this case, right? So if the police already brought them this case, then what do you think the investigators are investigating? The person, the defendant. So the investigators are going on social media to check out the defendant's social media action. The investigators are digging into the defendant's past to see if they can find anything shady in his or her past that could be relevant. That's what investigators are doing. And that is why prosecuting offices have their own investigators.
Wow. This is the question I want to ask you as well. We know that Polight has been on social media speaking up a storm. You just said once again that as a counselor, you would tell your client, don't speak on social media at all because it can all be used against you. Now, he's been boasting. He's been calling it the Rolls-Royce diaries. This is the thing. Now, this is where I'm going to put my clinician's head on as a therapist. When I hear Polight say things like this, and I think no one has to be a therapist to figure this out, but he's saying things in his first few videos where he's saying, I've made people rich. I've lived a good life. No matter what you think of me, I have done all the dreams that I've wanted to live. Now, to me personally, when you talk like that, it's almost like self-consciously or unconsciously, in my opinion, some of the guilt is coming out because if you're an innocent person, why are you almost talking as if you're trying to say to everyone, look at all the good I've done, no matter what has happened? It's almost like he's preparing himself for a potential downfall And now he's trying to ratchet up the reality that, hey, I'm still a good person because, see, I make people money. I've made people rich. I've done this. I've done that. I've traveled around the world, almost like he's giving his last supper statement. This is just my inference from it, because dealing with criminal minds in the way that I do, one of the things I notice about Polight, and I said this in my first video, he has a very high, in my opinion, in professional opinion for that matter, he's very narcissistic personality. That is someone who blames the world for all their problems. They never want to confront and deal with what they are doing wrong. It's always the blame of other people. You people out there making videos, you people out there, as he says, jump out the goddamn window. Come on. I love the attention. Give me the attention, he says. Those are all the traits of a narcissistic personality. Someone who has, I believe, some cluster B personalities, because he's very self-absorbed, wants to blame other people, and he often keeps pushing what I call pimp culture, where it's all about, look at the clothes I wear, the hat on my head, look at my car, all this materialistic ideations that he's pushing forward. And I'm saying, is this the Polight who was talking all this stars and magic and dark magic matters and all this Egyptiantology? And now he ran from the East Coast to the West Coast, and he's become this, he's gone from this Awabian type of ideology and dress to this hip hop culture type of dress, where he has to put on a good show. To me personally, when I examine that as a professional, to me, his guilt is dripping all over him, because of all you have to do is look at how he's talking and look at eye contact. There's ways to tell when people are lying by their eye movement. And the last video he did, his eyes were bloodshot. People were talking about that. His eyes were bloodshot. And when you look on my thumbnail, folks, you see a man who's putting on a facade, but he looks very worried by his body language, his facial expressions, and those bloodshot eyes, or what appear to be bloodshot eyes, like he's not getting much sleep or that he's worried. That's what I think from my outside looking in appears to be, because body language tells you a lot about where people are, even when they're sounding high on the hog. What are your thoughts as a lawyer? Because I know as lawyers, do you all, or do you not look at people's body language when they're giving you they're telling you about what they did or not did? Don't you look at their body language? Don't you look at the psychology of the person as well? I'll stop there. I know I said a lot.
So some attorneys look at body language. Not all are versed in body language, and it isn't something that is really taught in law schools. So I will say that. So not every attorney is versed in body language. Now, psychology, that's a yes. Especially when you have these types of allegations, most certainly any assigned ADA or ASA or whatever, any prosecutor's office, they're going to want to look into the psychology behind this defendant, because as I've stated on my channel before, it is pretty much widely held that sex offenders have some type of mental health condition or mental health issue, and that it is recurring behavior. It's not something that someone does once.
Okay.
So from an attorney's perspective, you would be looking at the psychology of the person if you could. Okay.
And that's why when you have court cases that go to trial, let me just say this. When court cases go to trial, counselor, tell me if I'm wrong or right. This is why they will bring in expert witnesses or experts, such as forensic experts, psychologists, psychiatrists, to give you that understanding of how the mind operates and works, and how sex offenders work. Because I personally have dealt with sex offenders in my work profession. Let me ask you this too, if I could, counselor, and you can disagree with my points if you feel that I said something that was not correct or not, because I definitely want to make sure that I'm saying correct statements here. But let me bring this to your attention. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. Polight. See, now I'm losing track of my thought here. There was a point that I had that I wanted to make, and I just lost it for like 1 minute there. That's what I was going to say. In psychology, narcissistic personalities are seen as people who have some mental disorder or mental dysfunction. So one can make a inference again that Polight may or may not have something going on. Going on like this. Now, that's what it was. Here it comes back to me again. Here's another point I wanted to make. It's been my experience professionally that when someone has been caught doing something like this for the first time, it may be the first time that they've been caught, but they could have done this many, many more multiple times in the past, but have just not been caught by the law. When I work with guys in my job, we find out down the line because they begin to confess sometimes that they've done other crimes, such as sexual crimes towards children and women, that they did not get prosecuted for yet. And once that comes out and it's verified, they could be prosecuted within the court systems, within prison as well for that. It has happened. So what has been your experience, if not your experience, the experiences of lawyers that you know, where they've dealt with someone like a Polight, and you find out that, damn, this guy has not only done this particular crime, which he's been busted for the first time, but he's got many other victims out there. What are your thoughts, counselor?
So the instance in which a defendant is being charged with this type of crime, but they have done it before and just not been charged or not been caught, right? That is in the law referred to as uncharged conduct or prior bad conduct, sometimes prior uncharged conduct, right? And by the way, some people also use the word acts, ACTS, instead of conduct. But the long and short of it is, when you can prove a pattern of behavior, and I feel like I talk about this constantly because it applies to so many of these pop culture cases. So it applies to the Bill Cosby case. It applies to the R. Kelly case. And it also applies to this Michael Noak case, right? When you have a pattern of behavior and you can establish that pattern as a prosecutor, you can then bring into court past behavior that you're not even charging that defendant with.
Yes.
For example, in the Bill Cosby case, they had 5 accusers who testified that he was not being charged with doing anything to those victims. But those victims were able to testify because their allegations lined up perfectly with the allegations of the victim in that case.
Okay.
So the prosecution said to the jury, we have a pattern of behavior here. We have been doing something the same way over and over again. The law also views that as MO, or modus operandi.
Modus operandi.
Yes. And it is considered an exception to the usual fact that usually you cannot be charged with things, or rather you cannot be accused of things that are not in the charging document. So usually no one can say, well, I think you did this on Monday, and so that makes you guilty of doing it on Wednesday, usually. But once you have the pattern of behavior, that's an exception. And it's a back door by which they can bring in prior bad behavior that the person may have never even been charged with and use it to bulk up their current prosecution.
Okay. What are your thoughts about, I think what gets lost in these discussions is the fact that there's a 14-year-old minor who, if Polight did this, allegedly, this young lady will be scarred for life. This young lady will have issues when it comes to other men that are in her life, or that men that may attempt to talk to her, who may have some interest in her in the future. I can't imagine what the mother is feeling. And there's people out there that's saying, well, the mother gave Polight, the daughter to Polight, but I have it on good information that she never gave him permission to take her to a club. Then the question is, there's this whole thing about they were eating late at night. The question is that this is one of the criticisms that people will put out there is that, well, didn't the mother know that Polight was this sort of player like this? And she did feel uncomfortable with Polight when he was talking to Zion Lex TV on an interview that they did some few years ago, where they were talking about the Bible and that the Bible gives you permission to do A, B, and C to women and marry a woman without the family's permission. And there was a scene on the video where the mother of the child got up, felt uncomfortable. And I showed that a week ago. So check that video out. The one I did on Polight just a week ago, where she got uncomfortable and she left the room for a moment. There are some that would say, well, she knew how Polight was, how he is, how he gets down. So she has no one but to blame but herself as a mother. We can point the finger at the mother and say all we want about, well, did the mother do this wrong or do that wrong? It still doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for any man or for anyone to be engaging in inappropriate behavior with a minor child who is not of consenting age and is not of the mindset emotionally to handle what you are doing to them in the way that he has been alleged to have harmed this child allegedly. What is your thoughts as a woman? This is not as a counselor right now, my sister, but just as a woman, as a black woman, as a woman in general. I don't know if you have a daughter or a child yourself, but when you look at this from an emotional or maybe a logical point of view, because we got logic and then we have emotions, step right outside of your lawyer's hat and just give me your goddamn real deal opinion here from as a sister. Go right ahead.
So I do not have children yet, but I will proclaim, I'll go ahead and claim that I will have a daughter one day. Mm-hmm. And as a woman in this community, and by in this community, I just mean the human community, right? In the world. I am disheartened. I mean, extremely disheartened by the fact that there seems to be such a universal reluctance to protect young women, especially young women of color. Yes. There seems to be, and it's not just happening from the male perspective. So it's not just men that are saying these things. I mean, there are other women that go out of their way whenever you have this kind of accusation, go out of their way to find a way that it could somehow be the fault of the minor.
Yes.
We have to take, as a global community, we have to take the safety of our daughters way more seriously. Because what happens is that we are creating a world full of people who have been so deeply scarred that it's hard for them to be able to continue in a positive way.
Yes.
And we point the finger at these, victims, and we blame them for emoting in a certain way when they get older. But that person could have been harmed when they were younger, and now they're dealing with the fact that they were never protected from that kind of harm. And then when you talk about people who make all of these excuses, listen, I do not care if a minor strips herself naked. I mean, no clothing on.
Right.
Takes a grown man by the hand and walks him into a bedroom. He is a grown man. He is an adult. The onus of responsibility is on him. He is supposed to say, hey, you are a child. This is not appropriate. You need to, go in and put your clothing back on. That's the role we have to take as adults. We have to stop blaming children for things that are happening to them, allegedly, and say, you know what? We're the adults here, and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So it doesn't matter how fast you are. No adult is going to take advantage of you. And you know what? I have actually seen in my, my lifetime, men who stand up like that. I've actually had conversations with men who say, yeah, I found out that she was 15 or 16 and she was still trying to engage with me, and I said to her, this is inappropriate. We're never going to be like that because you are a child. That's the level of responsibility that adults need to have. It's our job to protect children. Not a child's job to understand that they are a child. Think about when you were 15. Did you understand that you were a child, or did you think you were grown? Be honest. So as a woman, I'm disheartened by all of the excuses that we make whenever these types of allegations are trotted out. I'm even disheartened by when I go to the supermarket and I see men with their daughter and the daughter is walking behind them.
Right.
The little girl
that shouldn't happen.
is walking behind her father.
Snatches
the little girl?
Right. And that should not happen at all. Let me say this. One of the reasons why I, sister, did what I did to do this video, because it's not really my style personally to do videos where I'm calling someone out per se. But the reason what sparked me to do my video a week ago on Polight was the fact that I also have a daughter. I'm a father. And I say to myself, if someone was to do this to my child, it's going to be on 10 o'clock news. Something's bad's going to happen. I'm going to do something. These are terrible allegations if they are true against him. That's what it sparked me to talk about this a week ago and to continue talking about this today when I think God dropped you right into my laps. Something divine happened to allow me to find your channel, which I have subscribed and will stay subscribed and will promote. Everybody right now, I want you to drop the Empowered Esquire TV's link in the chat. I also have the link in the description of this video. If you would like to subscribe to her channel, I would suggest all of you subscribe. Let me thank Brother Real Aaron Collins for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Let me thank Empress KIYA for being in the house. Nappy Roots, Doug, we got Q1 Film Media, who said they've been investigating Polight's behavior for a long time on their channel. So let me thank you for coming on over. And I'm having a few problems with my, there we go. My mouse is giving me some problems. And let me say peace to Red that's coming in the house, Doug, Golden Melanin, No Nonsense. And then we got my sister. Let me put her on the board here. My sister, some chick named Star. Thank you for coming through. If you want to super chat me, I appreciate that. If you want to cash at me, I appreciate that. But what I want folks to primarily do is I want you, this is the name, the Empowered Esquire TV. Put that mods in the chat room. Run that through the chat room as much as you possibly can. And those of you who you don't get in the chat room, I need you to get her link to her channel by going into the description of this video. Click into it, go to her channel, subscribe, hit the bell of notification. Do it immediately. Don't play around here, because this sister has given us some jewels of information and power. Now she's in my chat room right now. I'm gonna mod her up because I respect this sister. She's modded up on the channel. I see her. She's in the house right there. We got Hudson that's in the house. I got Hudson on the screen. Saint Hudson, thank you for being here. We got Cindy Jones that's in the house. I'm just giving some homage to everybody in the chat room that I can. I want to say thank you. And y'all know how I do it over here. Let me give a clap to everybody in the chat room right now. I want to thank you. And let me get right back over to the sister right now and let her, with the time that we have left, because I don't want to hold up all of her time. We're working. It's about 12:30 my time, which would be about 4:30 or 2:30 her 4:30 her time, somewhere in there. She's 3 hours difference from me, which means we're making very good time, because she said that she's going to be doing a program on her channel in a few hours from now, or an hour or two from now. So you definitely want to get over there and check her out. She covers a lot of material legally about a lot of individuals that we are aware of in the media, stars, athletes, various issues that are going on. She has a good video on Candace Owens, who I think is a big buck dancer, to be quite honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. A big time child buck dancer, in my opinion. We got Doug, who just gave me the $5 super chat. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and play the music, my super chat music, and give y'all the celebration right now for everybody to super chatting me before I get back to my sister with the short amount of time that we still have left. And here we go.
Tell them run it on. Go. Yeah. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Wet. Tell 'em run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Wet. Tell 'em run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it off. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down.
All right, everybody, I just want to give some love where love is needed, because there were people who super chatted me. That celebration music and the whole 9 yard was specifically for you. Let's get back to the attorney at law with the time that we have left. Let me ask the sister a few more questions, and then we're going to put a conclusion, crescendo on today's program. I will have her back. Matter of fact, I would love to bring this sister on the show regularly to pick her brain when it comes to legal issues that are happening that come up. I would love to bring her over here and get that opinion, while at the same time giving her channel support. And I hope all of you will subscribe to her channel. We got 131 people. We had 154 people watching. People have come in and out. Please get the likes up if you can, because it helps the video move through the algorithms of YouTube. So come on, just take your finger, hit the likes button, and do me a great favor. For those of you that are out there listening, share this video in all of your social media. All of your social media. It would definitely be well respected, well liked if you could do that. Let me take something off of here. Share this video. Now, I always put this up on the screen, and definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the Empowered Esquire TV. I'm going to say it again, to the Empowered Esquire TV. Do it right now. What are you waiting for? I feel like I'm I feel like I'm a preacher right now on one of them television programs. But get over there and subscribe to the sister's channel and share this video in all your social media. If you're a content creator, share this in your community tab right now. What are you waiting for, folks? I would appreciate that. To everybody that's rocking with the channel today. And before I end this, let me go right back over to the dear sister who has been a fixture on this program today. And I'm serious when I say I got to get you back on here, sister. I got you back on the screen. And definitely, I've got to pick your brain for other legal things, matters that come up on the fly, to further support what you're doing on your channel and to get the word out more and more. So, sister, with the time that we have left, because I know you're a very busy counselor, I would like to know, what is it that you want everyone listening to know about this case that's some of the most important aspects of it? What is it that people need to look at instead of getting out of these assumptions? What do they need to know about the law in general? Go right ahead.
So the first thing I would say is, as Information Man said early in his program, yes, you are still, any defendant, whether that be Michael Noak or someone else, is still innocent until proven guilty. However, he is a public figure. That is what he wanted to be. He put himself out there to be a public figure. And so it is reasonable to have a certain level of conversation about his past behavior, his current behavior, and what people think of this case. All of the conversation that is being had is legal and reasonable and is expected when you have someone who's a public figure. Now, my biggest thing when we're talking about this case is to try our best, if we can, to stick to what we know from news, from police reports, and from the law, and to try not to insinuate things about the case that we're not aware of yet. As time goes on, we will get more information about the case, and then we can have updated conversations. But as far as this particular case, I would say stay away from any rhetoric that we do not know is coming from a reputable source.
Okay. Can you elaborate, counselor, on where is everything going with the case right now? We know that Polight has post bail, and people think that that's a sign that he is not guilty of anything, although it's all alleged, because he does have the right to his day in court. He does have right to legal counsel. He does have a right to plead his case. But let me ask you this, counselor. Is it true that the burden of proof, because I believe in being a fair broker here, the burden of proof still lies on the 14-year-old minor as well as the mother who, if I'm not mistaken, counselor, reported these incidents? Is that wrong or is that correct?
So technically that's wrong, right?
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. So I don't repeat it again.
Let me correct you with the legal terms, right? The burden of proof in a prosecution lies with the prosecuting office. So it's not necessarily correct to say that it's the victim has the burden of proof or that her mother has the burden of proof. The state of Florida has the burden of proving these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. That is where the burden lies. Now, it is correct to say that Michael Noak does not have to prove anything. That is true. A defendant can actually sit through his or her trial and never say a word. The defendant does not have a burden of proof at all. The prosecuting office has the burden of proof.
So would it be fair, because I'm glad that you said what you said to me, counselor, because I don't want to go around these YouTube streets saying that and saying something that's incorrect. So because people say exactly what I just said. So that's my ignorance of the law, that it isn't necessarily the mother or the minor who has the burden of proof. It's the state of Florida who is actually going to prosecute Michael Norwalk or Horwalk. I can't say anything right here.
The reason why it's important for us to, be legally correct when we say that is because, and a lot of people have had this question, so I'm glad that you brought this up. The reason that it's very important that we're clear about who has the burden of proof and that it's the state and not the alleged victim is because there is something called evidence-based prosecution.
Evidence-based prosecution.
There are cases in which you have a prosecutor going forward with a case with no victim. Mm-hmm. That is why it's very important that we don't say that the victim has any burden of proof, because that's legally incorrect and that's not what is required. So here's a potential scenario. Let's say potentially the victim says she does not want to go forward. She does not want to cooperate. She does not want to continue with these charges. Did you all know that the prosecutor's office could still go forward with the case without the girl?
Is that, wait a minute.
That's an evidence-based prosecution.
So let's say, God, this is powerful. Let's say the young lady, someone corrected me on that. The girl, the 14-year-old minor, gets cold feet and does not want to go forward and do any testimony. You're saying that the state of Florida, under the law, still has the right to pursue the case against Michael Noak?
Absolutely. Now, they can decide not to pursue it. And so what usually happens is when you have a victim who decides not to cooperate, the prosecuting office takes a step back and says, okay, well, what evidence do we have? Do we think we have a strong enough case without her? And if they decide they have a strong enough case without putting a victim on the stand or without having a victim present, they can go forward without her. Different jurisdictions call it different things, but it is usually referred to as an evidence-based prosecution. It happens a lot in domestic violence cases, and it happens a lot in sex crimes. Mm-hmm. Usually, victims of domestic violence and victims of sex crimes, they have a lot of psychological burden going on with them, and they just can't go through with it.
Okay, let me say peace to Pastor Lee, Miss Mary in the house. All of you that have come over, Golden Melanin, we got Blue Devil, Glee is in the house. We got my man, Pastor Lee. What's up, brother? Good to see you over here. Doug is in the house. We got my man Black Ice TV. What's going on, brother? Golly, man, about time you get your butt over here. Matter of fact, I got to interview you. That's one of our brothers from over there in the UK. Got to get you on here. He runs with my man George Makem. My man George Makem, who runs the Urban Nerds Worldwide organization that's working with youth in Philadelphia. Fantastic to see you over here, Black Ice. I have a lot of respect for you, brother. And peace to everybody. Share the video in your social media, all of it. Please, we got to push this out. I got to ask you this question because someone said something in the end. And peace to TNBN. Put them on the screen right here. TNBN. Thank you for being here. And Sister Natural, Pastor Lee, everybody in the chat room, thank you. Anybody that I have not had a chance to shout out, I apologize. If I missed any super chats, I apologize. If I missed any cash apps, I apologize as well. I'm just trying to focus on what the counselor is saying here. But this before you go, sister, I have to ask you this because this is where I didn't ask this before. The DNA. Is it true? Because I'm hearing people saying, well, we don't have any proof that they collected DNA. From your expertise or your background, did they actually collect DNA on Polight, or is it just something that's been fabricated? Do they have DNA on him? Is that usually the procedure when you're being brought into jail and they're charging you for a sex crime against a minor? Is it commonplace to make you give up DNA so that they can start the process of investigating at that time? Is that common or is that not common?
So based upon what has been released of the report, it is our understanding that there was allegedly a DNA warrant requested and received.
Wow.
Now, is it commonplace to take DNA in these types of cases? Absolutely. It is commonplace for the DNA of the defendant to be requested in some way. The defendant, of course, does not have to volunteer that DNA, right? Which is why a DNA warrant is obtained, because it's the court ordering the defendant to provide a DNA sample. Usually in these types of cases,
Tell the truth.
What is usually called is a rape kit, right, is done. And so that would mean a full physical examination of the alleged victim, which includes taking samples of anything found on her person or on her clothing that is the bodily fluid of the defendant. That is commonplace.
Okay. This is another area that I wanted to ask you. It appears like the mother of this minor, once again, if this happened, definitely put the minor, the 14-year-old, the daughter, put her in your prayers. Put the mother in your prayers, because as I reported a week ago, there's been some rumor that there are people that are supporters of Michael Noak, as we know as Polight, that have been maybe allegedly have been doing death threats on the family. I don't know how true that is, but that's what was reported by Zion Lex TV, who has a relationship with the mother at this time, according to him, allegedly, ladies and gentlemen. But did she do the right thing, counselor, with striking while the iron is hot? Because when a child or a woman or anybody is raped, the clock begins to tick. And that clock ticking means that they want to get you in there as soon as possible to get the rape kick going, to be able to gather as much evidence before you go into a shower and wash yourself. And I'm going to tell you, folks, if you ever are unfortunately in a situation where you have been raped, you do not want to go into a shower and wash yourself up. You want to get to a hospital. You want to get someone there very soon so that they can scrape and take tissue samples, whatever they got to do to make it very possible to catch the perpetrator of such a crime. Now, counselor, is what I said correct? Am I giving good advice that you've got to strike while the iron is hot and get that rape test as quickly as possible and not wash your body of the evidence? Is that correct, or am I wrong?
What you said is correct. If you are unfortunately in a situation where you have been a victim of some type of intimate crime, you want to report it as soon as you can. and you do not want to take a shower. You do not want to potentially wash away any of the bodily fluid, which could link, the perpetrator to what that person did to you. That is absolutely correct advice. Although we know that while it is the best thing to do regarding prosecution, it doesn't always happen that way. I'm very sensitive to the fact that victims of these types of crimes, it's difficult to talk about, it's difficult to report, it's difficult to live with, all of those things.
Right.
If you can, and if you are in your right mind and you're well enough, the best advice is to get to the authorities immediately.
Okay. What's going on, 12Ls? Good to see you over here, good sister. How you doing? Peggy Roster, good to see you. Love that parakeet bird. Or no, it's not a parakeet. That's a dusty parrot, I believe. Let me ask you this question, because 12Ls put something on the screen. What are the statute of limitations? Let me say that correctly. When it comes to situations of being raped, because we witnessed it in the Bill Cosby case, where you had women who came out after 40 years or more saying that Bill Cosby did something to them. Now, there are those of us who believe that Bill Cosby was railroaded, that these women had something out to get him. But just in general, what are the statute of limitation? Remind us of that, counselor.
I'm glad you asked that question, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. So the statute of limitations is different in every jurisdiction. Unless you're in a federal case where there's a federal statute of limitations, then it could vary from the state that you're in. It could vary. It depends on what jurisdiction is prosecuting you, right? Now, in the Bill Cosby case, this is something that we have to remember. Statute of limitations only applies to what you can be charged with. So remember our conversation. He wasn't being charged with the 30, 40 years ago accusers. Those accusers were testifying as modus operandi testimony, as pattern behavior testimony. So no statute of limitations applied to that. And what he was being charged with happened in, I think, 2004. And there was a 12-year statute of limitations, I believe, that they had just made. They had just made it. It was like the last year that they could charge him with that case.
So you're saying, wait a minute, let me correct. Are you saying that the family, the mother, just got this case in just before the statute of limitations on the Polight situation ended, or are you talking about another case?
No.
Get this correct.
Remember, I was talking about Bill Cosby. I was saying
Bill Cosby. Okay, right. Bill Cosby.
In general, statute of limitations differs depending on what state you are in. So statute of limitations is not the same across the board unless you're talking about a federal case. And this is not a federal case. This is the state of Florida v. Michael Noak. So it's different in every single state. Now, the reason why I think the question was asked is because we have, like you mentioned, accusers from 30 and 40 years ago testifying in these cases.
Yes.
So that's why I merged into Bill Cosby and I said, statute of limitations applies to what a defendant can be charged with. So remember, Bill Cosby was not being charged with hurting these women 30, 40 years ago. He was being charged with assaulting that woman in 2004. Those women who testified were testifying for modus operandi or pattern testimony, but he wasn't being charged with that. So you can have testimony about something that happened 100 years ago if you want. You're not charging the defendant with what happened 100 years ago. So statute of limitations does not apply.
Okay, so let me correct this. Let me just say this for everybody listening. You have to look at the law in your state. Every state has a different law. Statute of limitations could be shorter or longer in various states. This is why this is important, Empowered Esquire TV, sister counselor, because we have people, and you're helping me to correct my language when I get up here on these social media platforms, because we have people on social media who make these statements and say, hey, it's statute of limitations, as if statute of limitations is one blank law for the whole country, not realizing that it depends on the state that you're in, and certain states have harsher punishments for certain type of crimes. Is that correct or not correct, sister?
Ding, 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 ding. Certain states have harsher punishments for certain crimes. And quite frankly, it's politics. You may have a governor who runs on, I'm tough on sex crime, and so he's going to have a more relaxed statute of limitations on sex crimes, right? That was his platform. That's what he ran on. So your statute of limitations is going to be different in every state unless you are talking about a federal prosecution.
Okay. By the way, I've been wanting to ask you, and I think I got this correct. Is that picture in the back of you, is that Thurgood Marshall?
It is Thurgood Marshall.
See, I know it. I knew it.
Absolutely is. Thurgood Marshall and Johnny Cochran are two of my, when people talk about who they stand for, I don't stand for celebrities, I stand for Johnny Cochran and Thurgood Marshall. Two of, I think, the best attorneys to have ever lived. Just period. So yes,
all right.
Thurgood Marshall.
Let me say peace to my man, Blue Jeans. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Hey, Blue Jeans, I love what you and Club Den are doing over on the channel. Love what you're doing. But he asked a question here. He said, what law? Bill is free. Let's get something corrected since I got you on here, sister. Bill Cosby, people are saying that Bill Cosby got off on a technicality. But didn't Bill Cosby get out of prison based on the law, the very law that protects all of us, whether we like that he's out or not? For some of us who don't agree with it and do agree with it, isn't he protected under the law? Let's clear that up. Why I got you here, counselor.
Absolutely. So Bill Cosby was released based upon the law. Some say it's a technicality. You can view it as a technicality because the truth of the matter is his conviction was not overturned based upon the facts of the case.
Okay.
That is the truth of the matter. His conviction was overturned based upon the law. It was based upon the fact that, mind you, we don't know the details of this agreement, but it was based upon the fact that he had a previous agreement with a prior DA that should have prevented him from ever being prosecuted, whatever that agreement was. Okay. So yes, he was released on a technicality, but his conviction was overturned and he was released.
Yeah. Mo Reed, I agree with you. Definitely Johnny, rest in peace. One of the greatest lawyers that ever was in a courtroom. I miss the brother. I wish Johnny Cochran was alive. I wish Johnny was alive to be able to handle some of the cases that we have seen that have happened over these last years and months that have passed. But let me ask you this question, counselor. I would be foolish not to ask you this question. When Bill Cosby gave his testimony and he said that, yes, he did give women those quaaludes or those pills, but he said in his testimony, or he said not in test, he said in a statement that he said that he gave them them pills knowingly. And let me mute myself. I got to get my young one coming in, and I'm going to have you speak to that, and then we're going to come to a conclusion. Go right ahead, sister.
So your question was, what's the difference if he allegedly gave these women the pills knowingly? Was that your question? I can't hear you, so I'm going to assume that was your question. So as far as whether or not these women took whatever the drug was knowingly, the issue is that you're still lacking consent. So even if the person takes some drug knowingly and they want to take some drug, you still have to have a person's consent to engage in any sort of, contact with them in an intimate way. And if that person cannot give you consent, you still have a problem. You're still lacking consent. I hope that answered your question. You're still muted. I still can't hear you. I don't know if maybe it's just me, but I can't hear you.
There you go. You can hear me now. I had my mixed board muted and all of that. This is what we're going to do. I'll definitely have to have you come back to talk about other legal matters, because I would actually love to pick your brain about what we are hearing about the R. Kelly situation. I know you've got videos on your channel. Mods, please put the Empowered Esquire TV's channel in the chat right now. You can also find her channel on the description of this video. Please do that. Give her support because she is covering and talking about things and giving an aspect that none of us can give because we are not lawyers. For those of you that out there that are lawyers, then you understand what I'm talking about because you understand the legal jargon that some of us like you to give us your last, you're not your last, but your end today. One more time. Give us some more thoughts as we end.
Well, I'd like to first say thanks for having me on to Information Man. I am totally down to come back whenever you like to break down any legal issue of your choice. I am a law nerd. I mean, for me, this is like, you know, a nice Saturday afternoon talking about the law. I love it. And I love to teach as well. So I love to share any information that I have. And in closing, I would just say, you know, if you have any questions, you're welcome to find me on YouTube. My email is FeliciaDCPearson@gmail.com. It's in the description box of pretty much every video on my channel. So if for some reason you have a question that you think of and you're thinking, oh no, you know, I really want to talk to her about this or that, I always tell people you're more than welcome to email me. I can't promise that I, of course, respond in, 2 seconds, but I get around to my emails and I answer questions when I'm emailed. So I'm available. I'm accessible.
Okay. Let me say peace to my brother Moses, $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Right at you here.
Thank you for the super chat.
I want to thank you. We got Zero, the Infinity coming in the house. We got Miss Ride or Die that's in the house. A lot of folks have been coming in the house. We've had people coming in and coming out as the day is going on. This was a great turnout. I think people were very excited about this particular video today, this stream. I think they were excited to hear from you. And I think that some of the people that follow me are going to mosey on down to your channel and give you support. And like I said, I'll be talking to you behind the scenes because I would love to be able to bring you on and do these sort of streams where you can break some things down to the audience over here and as well as your audience over there so that the audience here and many audiences out there can give you more support. Her channel should be growing. Your numbers should be getting bigger and bigger because you are a black woman who have an expertise in something that many of us on social media, sometimes, I got to be honest, sometimes we say things and we don't know what we're talking about. I have made mistakes and you cleaned up something that I said today so that I do not say that repeatedly on other streams that I do. So with that said, sister, let me give you a clap. People are saying it's a great stream today, and I appreciate that. I'll see you again, sister. I'll be watching your channel. I'm hoping to see you go live. If I catch you live today, you'll see me in the chat room giving you all the praise. And I want to say once again, thank you for being willing to come on. You know, sometimes when you email people or you try to make contact with people, you don't know if they got their noses up in the air, they're on a high horse, they're on something else. You don't know. You just don't know. But you were very open and willing to come on board. And I'm glad that you had a chance to come on board and see how I do things over here and know that, I'm a real person and I do have some real concern about this issue. So we're going to be watching this case. But let me say this. Maybe you said this one more time before you go. What does your gut, take your legal head off, what does your gut tell you about this Polight situation? What does your gut tell you?
So as I've said before, I'm a student of Johnny Cochran, right? So when it comes to what my gut tells me about the outcome of a case, that's
tell the truth.
I cannot answer.
Okay.
That's one of the first things, although I take my legal hat off for certain things, when it comes to predicting the outcome of cases, that's something that I never do. I'm not going to predict how this could turn out.
Right. And as a lawyer, as an attorney, that would be going against what, your oath or your professionalism, right?
It's not really your oath. It's more so your professionalism. That's one of the first, lessons that Johnny Cochran took on as an attorney, and that he taught any attorney that he schooled and that studied under him. You never predict what could happen because you never know, and then you know how people are. Well, she said that this was going to happen, and now look. And it does not matter to the public if I say I'm taking off my attorney hat. Now I am. They don't care about that. They're still
Right.
going to have something to say if I predict an outcome that doesn't happen. So I'm not going to predict any outcome.
Okay. Well, dear sister, have a great rest of the evening. Everybody, please send this through the algorithms of YouTube. Like the video. There should be a lot more likes on what we got 128 likes. Give us more likes, folks, if you can. Share this in your social media. Share it with your friends, your family. Tell people about the Empowered Esquire TV's channel. Tell people about the Information Man show as well. And hopefully I can get this sister back. Excuse me. Little bit of a boo-boo on me. Y'all know how I can get boo-boo. Hopefully I can have this beautiful sister back. That's the correct thing I wanted to say on the program to examine other cases in the future. So thank you for being here and have a great day, sister. All right. Thank you. Woo! So there she is, everybody. That's the man. This has got to be one of my better streams. I have to be honest with you all, because having a sister on here with her professional background, with her know-it-all, well, no one ever knows everything, but what I can say is that she knows a hell of a lot more about how the law works than most of us that are watching or in the chat room that are not attorneys, who didn't go to school to understand law. This should be a lesson for people on social media. Every state has a different law. So you cannot put a blanket statement on everything being across the country. You have to understand the law and how that law works in each state. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you can. Check out her channel if you can. And I want to say right now, like and comment and subscribe. And I want to say thank you for watching this video today. I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Let me go into the chat room and run down the names of people that have come through today. We had a big crowd today as well, which I appreciate it. It tells me that the channel is growing. The channel is finally getting its due. It's finally getting the respect that it should get. And I'm glad a lot of people came over. I still don't think that YouTube is pushing out the notifications as it should be. Sure, there would have been a lot more people because the notifications are real janky on YouTube these days, but I'm going to keep doing it. I always work really hard to promote the channel through the social medias when I'm going live. As you all know, I want to thank you. Let me run through the names of people that have come through today by putting your names on the board. We have 12 Veil saying respect Information Man. I got the notification. Thank you. We got Tanya over here, Stanford, saying subscribe. Thank you, sister, for subscribing. And mods, if you can, a little small secret that I have is a little small channel that I got. It's a second channel. It's called the Information Man Speaks Podcast. And I go live over there almost every other night, or I load up videos quite frequently, even more than I do over here. It's a little small channel that's growing real small and slowly, but it's growing. So definitely put that link to the second channel in this video today and go over there and subscribe to that channel as well, sister. Matter of fact, you will, if you scroll down on this page, you will see my logo for my second channel, Information Man Speaks Podcast, and you can just hit that logo and go over there and subscribe. I would appreciate that. And get the likes up a little bit more because we want this to go through the algorithms of YouTube furthermore. Let's see. Back to the basics. Thank you for coming over. Peggy Rosser says, like up. Thanks. Share the video, Peggy. Share the video, Peggy, with people that you know. Let them know about what's going on over here. Everybody. We got Nappy Roots Girl. She's new to the channel. Thank you for being here, sister. She says, good man right here. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. Appreciate your good words. Let's go on up here. And we got, hey, Miss Vicky, who's in the house. She says, great show. Thank you for coming over, sister. Doug, who's been rocking with me for a long time as well. Thank you, brother Doug. We've got Miss Ride or Die. There's not, please share. There's not, please share. Please share, everybody. Please share the video on all your social media. Come on now. I know y'all got Instagram. I know y'all got Twitter. I know y'all got Facebook. I know y'all got all sorts of things out there. So share it. Then I got my man, Black Ice TV, who has surprised me today by making a debut over here in my chat room. And he's a brother who runs with my dear brother, George Makem. That's the crowd that I respect. That's the group that I like those brothers because they get real work done. And brother Black Ice TV, I've got to at some point get you up on this stage and interview you and get brother George Makem back over here too. I support the Urban Nerds Worldwide. Check out the Urban Nerds Worldwide non-profit organization. You can support George Makem. The money goes to the organization. He's working with youth in the community of Philadelphia. He's called Urban Nerds. He's introducing science. He's getting them out of the community. They're going to museums. He's mentoring. These kids are brilliant that he's working with. Incredible things that they're doing. And that is the Urban Nerds Worldwide. Thank you, Doug, for dropping that in the chat room because I know you support the brother as well. We got the Empowered Esquire TV with her lovely self. She's lovely. I got to be honest. Coming up here and donning the channel. Let me put another picture of this sister up here. I like this picture of her right here. This is a picture of her right here. That's a very nice picture. Of her standing outside. Looks like some legal chambers or something. But here's a lovely picture of this sister right here. Don't y'all like that? That's a wonderful picture. Wonderful. Let me give her a clap again for coming over here again. Just lovely. Just lovely, ladies and gentlemen. Just a lovely picture of a very powerful lawyer. I suspect that she's going to be something really big. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to be able to interview her and hopefully get her on the channel more regularly to discuss these kind of issues. But to see her doing what she's doing as a lawyer, this sister is going to blow up. And I'm going to be glad to say, hey, I got a chance to interview her at her stages of beginning in her career. But she might just blow up on us, folks. And we're going to probably be hearing about her down the line. OK, and I think it's wonderful that she came on the channel today. As she's in there, she says, thank you. Back to the basics. Black Ice again. We support you, brother. Hey, I support you too, Black Ice. Thank you. We got the Oracle that's coming in the house. Thank you for coming on over, Oracle. And we got Doug. Yes, Information Man. And let me end the broadcast. And we got Nikki. Someone named, we got Club Den's in the house. Oh my God. Club Den. We got Nikki in the house saying, awesome. Thank you for coming over, sister. But Club Den has a great channel. Check her out. Club Den, thank you for coming on over. Blue Jeans came over as well and supported the channel as well. And we got the media, the Q1 Film Media and Art. Thank you for coming over. I just want to give everybody some respect like this because, of course, I wasn't able to call everybody out every minute because we had a real lawyer on this channel tonight telling us the truth. OK, and then we got my main man, this man right here that you see on the screen. D.I.V. Mr. Male Advice. D.I.V. I'm a member of his channel. This brother has gifted hands. If you want to get a gift for your daughter, your son, you want to give gifts for the holidays, this brother makes things with his hands. He creates incredible objects. If you go over to his channel, he has one of those channels where you see him making crafts. It's incredible. Get in contact with him. Maybe you can support the brother, pay him a nice fee to make something beautiful for you for the holidays. That's Mr. Melivice D.I.V. Incredible channel, incredible brother. And I think he is one of our, and I don't want to separate by this, but we're all black people, but we all come from different parts of the diaspora. I believe he is one of our Caribbean brothers, and I have nothing but respect for him and the brothers and sisters in Africa and the Caribbean. We all are fighting for our rights. I know in Jamaica right now, they're in the midst of fighting for reparations from Great Britain. Black people in America, we're fighting for reparations as well. We are all in a fight to get what is due us in this world. So I got to give him a clap. Golden Melanin, I really appreciate how you clarified many. Thank you. I try to do the best I can. I'm not your usual YouTuber. I will acknowledge people. I will give respect. I'm humble. It's obvious that the channel is growing. More people are coming over. The family is going to get bigger. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. If you notice, over the last few weekends, I've been upping what I'm doing over here. And I've got more goodies coming down the pipeline. Tomorrow, Sunday, there is a big chance that I may go live Sunday, and I'll go live around my usual time, 1:30 in the evening, something like that. Who knows? There's a chance that I may go live. I have a very powerful video. This video that I may want to do has a lot to do with Umar Johnson. And I'm going to expose something. I got to say shout out to Brother Honors out there, who I am a mod on his channel. And he gave me this information to use. He has produced something on his channel, but I'm going to take this information, these videos, these things, and I'm going to show you why that Umar Johnson has not been serious about building that school. You got black folks who have been offering free services, free of charge. And when I show you the videos and the footage and the renderings of a brother by the name of Marlowe, who created a rendering for him, a website for him, it's going to blow your mind. I might do that video tomorrow, or I may wait to do this video next week, because I don't know if Honors is going to go live tomorrow, because he says that when I do this video, he wants to get the supporters, and he's got thousands of people that follow him. He gets thousands of people in his chat room. He wants to get his supporters over here to support that video. So I want to say shout out to him if he's going live today or Sunday. If he's going live today, I'm going to talk to him behind the scenes and set it up where we can get his folks over here, because I'm going to go live with this, and it's going to blow your socks off. It's going to be explosive. This is the Information Man Show, and I don't call myself that for no reason. I'm looking in the crevices and all these things. I also have another video with me on the ground, out and about on the ground. I was at a reparations rally in Sacramento. And I'm going to tell you, black people, we got to get it together. We need more support in this effort than we're getting out on the ground. And I'm going to show you some footage of me at a reparations rally. Matter of fact, the police showed up on us. Oh yeah, the police, the highway patrol pulled up on us, along with police on bicycles, because they didn't like the idea that they put the banners and all the stuff in the microphone on the stairs of the Sacramento Capitol, the capital of California. They had to make them move. Said, do you have a permit? And while they were asking that question, it was one cop. Then a whole bunch more cops showed up to make us move from one part of the Capitol. It was very, very interesting, to say the least. So I'm going to be working on getting that footage uploaded and up to go on this channel. It's going to be very interesting. But what's most interesting is how black people, we don't give the support that we necessarily need outside of these social medias on the ground when it comes to the issues of reparations. It's almost as if we don't want it. Do you want it or do you not want it? That means that you have to put your foot on the ground, get out there and have rallies, protests, get in the faces, in the necks of these politicians. Now, in California, there is a bill where they put forth a bill in a committee about the possibility of giving black folks in California reparations for what happened in California. And we've got a recall right now. I'm not voting yes to get Gavin Newsom out of office, because why? It was Gavin Newsom in his administration that approved the idea of a reparations bill, potentially with a committee looking over the history. So basically it's another goddamn study. Oh my God. But he is in favor of it in terms of moving it forward. If we get someone in office like Buck Dancing, Larry Elder, who I believe is the front runner right now, Larry Elder, one of these conservative blacks who's, if he gets in office, he's going to get rid of all of these measures like a reparations bill or a committee to study reparations to get us reparations. He's going to get rid of it because he doesn't believe in it. He's one of these Negroes on his high horse who believes that he has arrived. He doesn't need reparation. We don't need it. He's a tool and a fool. Larry Elders trying to take control of the capital, as governor of California. That would be a disaster, to say the least. He is not the kind of black man that you want governing California. Even though there's never been a black governor of California, he's the wrong black man to be governor because he's nothing but a tool and a fool for these white supremacists. And of course, he jumped all over Joy Reid because I'm not a big fan of Joy Reid, but she did call him out.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
And she was telling the truth about Larry Elder. And now he got all bent out of shape about it. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not voting no on the recall in California because I don't want Larry Elder. Politics is a dirty game overall, but I don't want Larry Elder, the likes of him, getting into the governorship. Because the Republicans want to get control of California again so that they can push the same illegitimate laws and initiatives that they have in other states. This is what's happening. And a lot of his money is coming from the Trump supporters, and he's getting a lot of what they call, there's a term called dark money. That means he's getting money from unseen forces that will never know where the money's coming from. Because Elders he's not worth that much money to run for governor. He ain't worth that much money. And of course, he likes the Beckys. And one of his ex-Beckys came out and she's throwing the Negro under the bus. Oh, yeah. He's also made statements about women being too dumb to understand how politics works. Oh, yeah, that's Larry Elder. I'm getting ready to get out of here, folks. Thank you for joining me. We got my man, Rob, in the house. Thank you for coming over. Brother Rob's in the house. Let me see. We don't shoot. The messenger's in the house. Peace to you. 2024. Real Aaron Collins. Let me name this other person in here. We got SSTD Liz 777. Thank you for coming over. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. Support the channel. Come on, folks. What are you waiting for? The channel is growing. I'm seeing great things coming for this channel and what we're doing over here. Oh, we got Sandy L in the house. She says, free baby. Right on. Right on. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra, I think I'm saying that right. SADE. Sandy. Thank you for coming over, dear sister. And then we got Nappy Roots Girl. My slave ancestors want their money. Right. So check this out. If we're going to get the money, ladies and gentlemen, in order to get the money, we as black people have to be willing to go out there on the ground and promote it, push it, rally around it, and put pressure on the politicians. That means we got to put foot on ground. What was disappointing to me in this rally is that there was not enough black people. Me and a few other people that were out there, we were like a one man and woman crew. So if reparations were not to happen, it's because some of us black folks just don't have the passion to fight for it. Because some of us think that we are special because we got a 4-car garage, we got a house, we got a car, we got a Cadillac, we got a color TV. Then we got black folks that split by religion, political ideations. Why can't we get on the board with the idea that no matter what your political, religious philosophies are, that we need reparations? Thank you for the super sticker, Vaughn 11. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
She gave me a super chat sticker. And let me go up here. And did I miss that? How did I miss that? How did I miss that? How did I miss? Oh, there it is right there. There we go. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. And let's go into the celebration before I end right now. And here we go.
On that check, no drip this. Tell him run it up. No. Tell him run it up. I wake up. Yeah.
Thank you for the super
I
chat.
wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip this. Tell him run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip
Thank you
this.
for the super
Tell him
chat.
run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady.
All right, everybody. So that I'm about to get out of here. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for all of your support again. This was a great show. I want to thank the Empowered Esquire TV again, the Empowered Esquire TV again. Check out her channel, support her. You will see her back on this platform very soon. You will see her over here because I'm going to be picking her brain on a regular, bringing her over when it comes to legal issues that are happening in this world that we live in today. Everybody take care. Who do we have right here? We have Whip Fanatic TV. Glad to be part of the platform. Thank you, Whip Fanatic TV. I'm glad to have you over here. And we have OFW in the house. Thumbs suck, brother. I think she misspelled that word, but it's okay. She's a supporter of the channel. Thank you for coming over, OFW. Appreciate you here. Brother Rob from Chicago, thank you for being here again. And let me go again. We got Remy. We got Red in the house saying, okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate you all. And once again, I may go live tomorrow, or I may wait till next week to go live on this first channel. But you can always catch me going live often on the second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. Take care, everybody. Take care.
Information is power.
slip on the trail. Tempo, you keep up with my tempo. Tempo, yeah, blowing up, C4. I just hit the Mike Jackson on my tiptoes. Oh yeah, I know we go wherever that wind blows. The endo. Don't slip on the trail. Don't slip on the. Don't slip on the. Don't slip on the. Don't slip on the trail. Don't slip on the trail. High key, I know. I send all of my rap foes like they my tadpoles. Yeah. Blow it up, C4. I just had to go crack now on my Depot. Yeah, that Draco bustin' like free throws. I do not miss no shots, I got the cheat code. That's why I never lose. They can't predict my moves. I'm way too smooth, I just caught a groove. This right here, that Charizard, the fire in the booth, had to go right back to it, If you ain't tell my money, please save your breath, don't bring it up to me, I pull up in that stunt like a 007 James Bond type movie, Hey, don't slip on the trip. No. Don't slip on the trip.
Information is power.
Don't slip on the trail. Tempo. My tempo.
Taking no L's, I'm on their coattails with a cash cars.
Tell the truth.
I'm racing the clock, look at them block, watching them flop. Used to see this in my sleep, when I ain't had shit but my thoughts in the car, I really was lost. Now I'm public with the soundscapes, flossing really pulling strings for the pound cake. I see you went for a puppet in the clown face for a little wage. The talk of the town is late. Still me, I never switch sides. Came a long way with the gas tank running on fumes. Wonder why you full on the envy. When it's all love, when I fall through with the young bulls, getting niggas a kidney, but you ain't mob, you a op. Must be lost in the sauce. Been here for the art from the jump start. Wanted this, is mom packed the lunchbox with the Kool-Aid jammers. And I'm still throwing tantrum. I'm set to roam around the planet where they know the songs and they chant them. The vision turned into fruition. I'm really liking how it's panning. They call me collector, you thought I planned it. Been crazy, then it fell into place. Now everything's stable. I'm all in on the table. You selling that fable, we know that it's made up. We know what you made of. I do better offline, yeah. I've been calling to a God. I'm in tune with the signs. I'm just trying to let go. I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to do fine. Moon landed with the elevation. Armstrong with the levitation. My third eye needed calibration. That was heat rock when I notated. I've been going crazy. Stone face when I kill beat, leaving no trace on location. Premeditated, ayy. Can't even be still for like more than a minute. The way that they play out, I don't wanna miss. I don't know part of this shit. Feel like I'm deep in the plot of a flick, and I'm the star of this shit. And I've been playing my part since back when we started this shit. Feeling charged, got a little coin on me, and I sauce with the nits. I'm a boss, I'm a prick. With the cold showed up in the bro doja in the fourth quarter, no assist. And the form's hella crisp. I'm the calm in a storm. I took my own struggle when I flipped it. And the hustle been legitimate. It's so many blessings, I might be allergic. How I move, they treating the sound like I'm stirring. I'm working the pot till it's firm. I serve like Serena, do it the cleanest. You not on my wave, you can't handle the current. Nah, that's just a teaser, yeah. I'ma be me, take it or leave it. I do better offline, yeah. I've been calling to a God. I'm in tune with the signs. I'm just trying to let go. I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to do fine.
Information Man Show. Last cut of the day.
Issues, I know I got issues. Hate you, then I miss you again. Selfish, I can be so selfish. Spend more time when meeting your friends. Please forgive my attitude.
Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Cake and eat it too, but a little grace would be enough for
You
me.
are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you. Crutches, I be holding crutches. Can't let go of any mistakes. Distant, sometimes I get distant. Stay away as long as it takes. Forgive my attitude. I need my cake and eat it too. But a little time will be enough for me to prove. Baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you. My highs and my lows, it's part of being human. Can you weather the storm? I'm starting to believe you can. Cause baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want these problems, I know I got
Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening, your day, wherever you are. I shall be back soon on the program. If anything breaks unusual, I'll go live late tonight. If there's any breaking news, I may go live tomorrow or next week, but you know I'll go live. Peace to you, everybody.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Information is power. Tell the truth. Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.